Stay tuned. The Bitcoin 2024 for Live Desk.
The announcement traded 20 times the 1 year.
Hi everyone.
So I guess just how do you think about that in terms of being an operator, being CEO, and then also how do you think about the Bitcoin notoriously volatile?
We got the Bitcoin conference today, everyone.
Bitcoin volatility profile looks like, how to manage that, and how do you use that to your advantage as well? You want to chime in, Eric?
Sure. Yeah. For us, it's been a huge bonus and benefit so far. We'd like to be able to capitalize on that.
Hi, everyone.
I think that what we've seen is an incredible embrace from Bitcoin community. So I don't know who all those shares are trading hands with, but
there's a fly right here.
What
the heck? Get out of here.
By the amount of enthusiasm and people reaching out to say, I bought your stock, I own your stock.
Hi, everyone. Bitcoin conference. It's Thursday. This isn't the crazy day,
and the
right?
the heavy volume.
This is not the crazy day. We got tons of awesome speakers tomorrow and Friday.
In purchasing private companies, for instance, they'll say to us, I wouldn't have done this, but now that your stock is so liquid, we can cash out easily if we need to. I think a lot of people worry about, selling in stock, us issuing stock to a company and them kind of being stuck in it. And that liquidity and that
Hi, everyone, just tuning in.
Creates opportunities that way. I think that, this is a little more technical, but volatility also enables you to eventually get into the options market, right? And there's no options traded on our stock at this point.
Right, the next main one is, Stefan, what's up?
World soon,
I love Bitcoin too. Stefan loves Bitcoin. I also love Bitcoin. And look, it's the Bitcoin conference.
To surge. So
our next major speaker is tomorrow at 9 a.m. James Seyfarth is speaking. And then after that, I think it's, let's check.
We would love to sustain that.
Love it. Simon, you and I have talked a bunch about the volatility.
Tomorrow at 9 is James Seyfarth.
The potential or chance.
And then at 2 p.m. it's Michael Saylor. And then at 4 p.m. it's RFK.
To what MicroStrategy has
Trump speaks at 2 p.m. on Saturday, and Vivek is at 3:30 on Saturday.
A corporate entity from the financing angle, and just again to reinforce the idea that volatility isn't something that's scary and should be avoided at all costs, and it actually is very advantageous. Just some thoughts there.
You're speaking to an equity derivatives trader, so volatility is my middle name. It's something that definitely embrace, and obviously if you understand option theory, the higher the volatility, the higher that option is worth. And so certainly together with volume, as Eric said, is something that's incredibly important. So volume plus volatility means that you're able now to have so many more tools in your tool shed. And so I think we would very much like in the the medium term to consider some kind of convert issuance. Japan is a very deep market. The convertible trading market is very active. And so theoretically, we may be able to see a situation where investors pay us to lend us money because they want that embedded call option. So I think MicroStrategy did 7 or 8 year converts with really high volatility that could have 50, 60, 70% option premium. And so the investor is basically getting that free call option and then willing to subsidize or take less on the interest. And so I'm feeling very excited about the potential for that. Other things which I think we can consider, and maybe an idea for your company, is when you do an equity issuance, if you
what segment is this?
Warrants at the same time.
What segment do we tune into the middle of?
See that as a discount. And so not only do you get
I can check
to sell shares,
but then I'd have to close.
That could be exercised down the road.
That
is sort of a guarantee for more
YouTube.
capital.
I don't want to do that, so you guys can keep, so we can all watch
where it should.
Yeah, I'd say and one other thing is just it's interesting because a lot of people say, well, I can just buy the ETFs. Why do I need to buy your stock or my stock? And there's a lot
Imagine
of,
buying
there are a lot of fund
ETFs,
managers,
Bitcoin and
institutional fund
Ethereum
managers. I know this
ETFs,
from being one myself,
when you can just
that
buy it
can't buy
directly and not have to
ETFs.
go
They
through an
can only buy
ETF and pay an
individual
additional
stocks.
fee.
And so they're kind of, a lot of them are starving to have more exposure to
And
Bitcoin.
just actually
They can't do
own
it
your
through
own
the ETFs.
Bitcoin.
We're kind of their three options, and I think that the trading activity, the high volume, enables institutional funds to also participate more. So that has that added benefit.
Right.
Yeah.
Indeed. And I was saying that the bond markets are even larger than the equity markets, and they're always looking for something to invest in.
Yeah.
I think MicroStrategy's previous convert was one of the top performing converts in the world.
Oh, is this guy from
As interest
MicroStrategy?
rates rose, every other bond fell in value.
Does this guy
except
work at
yours.
MicroStrategy?
Yeah,
That's the company that
in fact,
Michael Saylor owns.
At the beginning of this year, we had some of our convert investors call us up
This
and
is
say thank
Simon
you.
Garowich, is that right?
It was,
Does
our
anyone know?
converts were some of the
Pretty
best
sure that's Simon
performing,
Garowich.
or the best performing asset in their portfolio, given what had occurred between 2022 and the end of 2023.
Yeah.
But, the idea of volatility certainly is something that
Bitcoin certainly
benefits,
was the best performing asset for many, many people.
The construct of having a Bitcoin strategy. If I think about MicroStrategy, we talked about trading volume as one component. Prior to our Bitcoin strategy, I think MicroStrategy shares on a good day probably traded 100,000 shares a day. On a bad day, we're trading 1 million shares a day today, and on a good day, we're probably the most traded company listed company, period.
Wow.
And it's one of those things where I hear this a lot. Everyone has an opinion on Bitcoin, right? And in these financial markets, you either love Bitcoin and you want to be on the boat with us, or you hate Bitcoin and you want to be on the boat against us.
I mean, that's true.
All of those constituents come together.
No one's really in the
this
middle.
market that
No one's neutral.
allows and gives sort of like the
I mean, there's
flywheel
some people
effect
that
to,
don't know anything about it.
propel,
But I feel like
ability for
most
people to raise
people either
capital,
love it or
and
hate
improve
it.
that and
It's so
enhance
true.
that. And so it's really one of those dynamics where volatility is scary, but volatility is vitality. And really, you're thinking about volatility, for me, translates to trying to find that uncorrelated return, right? And so if you think about MicroStrategy, I think we're trading at about 100 vol. If you look at the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, that's probably 6 to 10 times the volatility of those indices. And you talked about the ETFs. MicroStrategy is probably trading at double the volatility of a Bitcoin ETF. So there's a lot of opportunities, whether you're betting for or against, and that creates that demand, and it creates a highly liquid ability for us to raise capital.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, the MicroStrategy converts, I believe, were a couple 100% above par.
Do you know how fun it would be to be a speaker here?
In a bond market.
Imagine getting to be a speaker at the Bitcoin conference. Like, how fun would that be? I'd love that.
Situation where debt to GDP and all the G7 nations are, potentially at a point of no return.
48 hours
bonds
from
in
right
nominal
now,
terms are going to be repaid, but in real
Vivek
terms,
Ramaswamy
corporate
is giving
debt
his speech on
you're almost
Bitcoin.
guaranteed on long duration paper for a negative real return. That's just the situation. There has to be printing. So Bitcoin as this unique asset, absolute scarcity, perfectly engineered scarcity, presents a really interesting opportunity. But like you said, there's a whole class of investors that can't touch it by mandate, right? Whether you're institutions or you have a bond mandate. So this corporate bond, really the corporate convertible bond for a Bitcoin company or a company that invests its cash flow or excess cash reserves in Bitcoin, is potentially, well, not potentially, it's actually happening, but at a smaller scale, a massive crack in the matrix, if you will. So I guess just curious on your thoughts on just maybe for Simon, the bond market in Japan, the interest rates are 1% on the long duration stuff. So I
Bad
guess
stuff
just
going on in
thoughts
Japan
there.
right now,
I know you have
guys,
a lot
and
of,
China.
friends in the fixed income world.
So I've heard.
They're definitely looking at Bitcoin. I guess just what's the lay of the land and what's the potential here for a blended Bitcoin instrument?
So the Japanese market is starved for yield. Absolutely starved for yield. So as you said, it's not easy for an institutional investor to invest in something that has Bitcoin exposure. But the brilliant thing about a convertible structure or buying into a listed company is it may own Bitcoin, it may be a proxy for Bitcoin, but ultimately it is a listed company, and it's a convertible on a listed company. So it kind of fits into a different bucket. I'm often speaking to my former TradFi friends, and this was 3-4 months ago, saying, would you buy a stock like ours? And they said, well, we like what you're thinking, but your liquidity is too low, your market cap is too low. Come speak to us once the size of the company is bigger. And so thanks to the Bitcoin strategy, we are now investable by most of the funds out there.
Let's see what some of the commenters are saying.
So that's,
what are people saying in the live chat there?
Exciting. Yeah,
guys, I'm gonna be honest. I don't have enough Bitcoin.
Really thinking about what the
I don't think anyone has enough
Bitcoin
Bitcoin
for us, and there's so many different tools that are available to us. I think I would say that the important thing.
Trump is going to say that Bitcoin will pump when he wins the presidency.
Something that is favorable to minority investors. When you're in Bitcoin, you have people.
It's the greatest asset in the world, that's for sure. Can you imagine the price of Bitcoin when Trump speaks? What do you think? What do you think? What are your guys' predictions for Bitcoin's price?
Everyone else isn't. So that's sort of weighing in the
when
back of
Trump
my mind,
gives
what
his
is something
speech in 2 days.
Avail of, investors broadly can avail of.
Love it. Andrew, I'm curious on, you joined in 2022. Bitcoin endured a pretty brutal bear market. MicroStrategy being levered beta Bitcoin, suffered even worse temporarily. Has since fully recovered and hit new highs. So, and at the same time, MicroStrategy has hosted multiple Bitcoin for Corporations events. So I guess just behind the scenes, whatever you can share, what has the conversation been like, and how has that evolved for prospective corporations, institutions that are looking to invest in your company, the financing third parties that you work with? Just like, how has the conversation evolved since the start of 2022 to today?
The financialization
I think
of
it's evolved with sort of
hash rate,
the Bitcoin
30 minutes with Ben
backdrop, which has
Harper,
improved
Luxor
significantly
Technology,
this
and
year. I'd
hash rate
say,
index.
In
Mike
that bear
Cohn,
market, things
William
were
Foxley,
challenging, and we
Block
had
Space
some
Media
tough conversations.
moderator. Is this what this is?
But I can tell you that whether it's a third party or a customer of our
I think so.
business,
Actually, there's a little bit of lag. What's going on here? Can you guys still hear me? This isn't me, is it? Am I still live? Let's see what they're saying in the comments.
vendor risk management focuses with those conversations.
Oh boy.
Fully committed to Bitcoin, understood how we manner. I think the experience of that was just being transparent and simple, especially when times are tough. Adds value and adds a benefit to perception.
I don't think that's what this is, although it's possible.
I'd say today, 2024.
We joined in the middle of it, so I didn't have time to check.
The progress we made around the regulatory clarity, the approval of the ETFs. Now let's
check really quick.
Large financial institutions like BlackRock not only selling an ETF product, but
this is
the purpose and the validity and the value
Maybe this
of
is.
Bitcoin. I think those things will continue to shift.
Although I'm pretty sure they called that guy by a different name.
I think that
that must be it.
I think there will be
the
more
financialization of hash rate.
Bitcoin.
That must be it.
There's 3 of us here today. There's probably going to be 6 or 12.
Yeah. You just found it. Bitcoin on the balance sheet. That's what it is. Yeah.
Stage.
Yep. It's this. Bitcoin on the balance sheet because Simon Garowich.
The maturity of the ecosystem are all lending itself for people to be more accepting of it. And
Bitcoin on the balance sheet.
And look at the value that's been created from MicroStrategy and that has been created by Semler and others that will continue to show and demonstrate that. I think people will further get it.
Love it. Well, I think when we're thinking about the corporate adoption and going from the idea phase to actual implementation, one of the hurdles that has probably been the most prominent behind closed doors has been the boardroom acceptance, right? And obviously, companies that have concentrated voting rights can move swiftly, but maybe companies that are widely held by institutions that are a bit more rigid, it's a bit of a different story. So maybe Eric, I would love to hear your experience in just how this went from idea phase to actually being rolled out.
Yeah, I think that when you
That was
have
weird.
a board
Is there
like
just a big
ours
black,
that has a lot
like-
of skin in the game?
Oh no, that's the
and,
audience. It looks like the
is
bottom
looking
half
to
of the screen was
maximize
cut out.
value, you're willing to consider all types of things it's going to create value, and the board that we had, our board fortunately is very flexible and open-minded, and I don't know if you see that as commonly as it is on our board, but our board members were relatively new to Bitcoin. They hadn't spent a ton of time thinking about it, and as a group, I kind of played an educating role. I brought it to the board, and I discussed the pros. We discussed the pros and cons, and we debated it heavily. And I was, just kind of surprised, to be honest with you, that
this is Bitcoin on the balance sheet.
There
Thanks.
was such an alignment because I expected.
Yeah, with these guys.
This
is not any main event
to kind of get to the finish
but,
line. And credit
I mean,
to
we're
them for
partying, guys.
understanding,
Yeah, we're partying.
There is this upside in Bitcoin, and that it made sense as a treasury reserve strategy. So, I think that a lot of what MicroStrategy has been preaching, a lot of what Michael Saylor has saying about zombie companies, was very easy for us to relate to.
And if you guys have any Bitcoin comments or
powerful
altcoin comments, just
concept,
throw it down, y'all.
Refer to it. That when you listen to that as a board member, when you listen to that story and you see what the value that MicroStrategy created, you have to listen. You have to kind of, take it pretty seriously as an option. And that's why it's so surprising that more companies aren't doing that. But that was a key factor, I think. The MicroStrategy for corporations story really resonated for us and helped a lot.
Love it. Well, Simon, maybe do you want to give a bit of color on kind of what that looked like from a board operational standpoint? And I guess one last thing, we got a few more minutes here, is maybe this is kind of a given. We're at Bitcoin 2024, but there's 1 million cryptocurrencies, right? But it's a Bitcoin strategy, right? And I think that's something that we kind of take as
guys.
a given,
What's your favorite coin?
What led to
what's your
the
favorite
firm
coin
Bitcoin decision, as well as the board story for you?
Post your favorite coin in the comments.
So in the board meeting that we had sort of back in April to do this, there were some naysayers on the board. Naysayers more in the sense that this seems like something terribly risky. That voice is now gone because the public market perception has been very positive. And so my conservative board member constantly says to me, "This
I don't agree with this guy."
Wisdom. But now I'm a believer that adopting a Bitcoin standard, plugging into
Could
the
you
apex
imagine?
monetary asset is something that can really transform a company. You asked about other cryptocurrencies. If Michael Saylor was on the stage, he would say there is no second best.
Michael Saylor is tomorrow, guys, 9 a.m. Mark it in your calendars, guys. Michael Saylor speaking tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're going to watch it together.
In the audience,
Make sure you're here at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Because you will not want to buy anything else but Bitcoin.
Love it.
That was sick.
Well, I think that's
I don't know, man.
today.
I wouldn't say that public perception is totally pro Bitcoin now, at least in the United States.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. I would not say that the whole U.S. is totally pro Bitcoin. Or public perception is very positive. I don't know. It's more positive than it was for sure, but.
Welcome back to the Mara News Desk at Bitcoin.
Yo, it's Michael
powered
Saylor.
by Bitcoin Magazine. I'm your host,
Yo.
Rizzo, editor of Bitcoin Magazine. Got a new round of special guests here. Of course, one needs no introduction. Mr.
Yo.
Michael Saylor, executive chairman of MicroStrategy, and then Mike Germano, president of Bitcoin Magazine. You know him from the
Michael
stream earlier
Saylor.
today. And folks, we've got a special announcement. One of the first from 3 days at Bitcoin 2024. Mike, I'll hand it over to you for the big news.
Yeah, thank you. So back in Vegas when MicroStrategy had MicroStrategy
Best
World
coin,
Bitcoin for
dude.
Corporations, we were excited to partner with them to not only stream the content, but work with them on who's speaking and all the connecting a bunch of Bitcoiners to what was going on.
It's a little
It was
quiet.
Such a success. We started talking, and we said, "Hey,
They
what's
have to
the
turn their
best way for us
volume
to help
up.
corporations on board, understand Bitcoin?" We have such an unbelievable community here at the conference, and these are all people who want to go back and bring them to
People
their business.
complaining about the
So
audio.
After some great conversations, we decided that Bitcoin Magazine and MicroStrategy are partnering on Bitcoin for corporations. So this will be an organization which are
Not
going to
really.
connect. We'll be able to connect these professionals. We'll be able to give them tools and resources to understand how they can adopt that, what they can do. We have everything from Bitcoin Magazine Pro that provides all the analytics, and more importantly, building a community.
Bitcoin Magazine
The
Pro.
best thing here is there's all these
Wait, is this guy from
people
Look Into
who aren't,
Bitcoin?
but they're passionate about it. How do we connect?
Look
them
Into
so we know
Bitcoin just
what they can do at the companies
rebranded.
They're working at. And these are
Look.
publicly listed companies as well, and really all the success that MicroStrategy has had.
Look
what
into
have they-
Bitcoin.
what have they
Takes you to
learned that we
Bitcoin
can do?
Magazine
We've
Pro.
had 10 years of trying to teach the world about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
MicroStrategy has unbelievable knowledge that they can.
This
help
guy's
us
from Look Into
really
Bitcoin. They
bring
just
so many
rebranded.
great Bitcoiners together.
Yeah, of course, the playbook has proven hugely successful.
Look Into Bitcoin's a
MicroStrategy owns
giant-
over 200,000 Bitcoin. We've seen a wave of companies
Did you hear
follow
that?
suit. Block, Semler Scientific,
MicroStrategy.
others.
You know, this
Michael, maybe
guy,
you can
his
just
company
talk
holds
about
over
this response we've seen,
200,000
how broadly
Bitcoins.
with this partnership.
Yeah, I think 2024 is year one of mainstream institutional adoption of Bitcoin. So clearly the momentum's picked up. I get a lot more calls from public company CEOs. I'm invited to talk to boards more often, and quite a few times now. And we think that now's the right time for this partnership because there's a whole lot of
Guys,
work
this is Michael
that we've
Saylor.
done. We've done a lot of macroeconomic modeling to look out at the macroeconomy over the next decade and come up with Bitcoin models. And then we've done micro modeling to look at any given corporation, and if you plug in the debt and the equity and the cash flows of a company and the market cap, you can calculate the appropriate Bitcoin strategy, and then you can explain it to your board. We've done a lot of work on the accounting. FASB accounting has come, and fair value is just now become something that's elective this year. We've done a lot of work on investor relations. How do you communicate this to your investors, especially if you're a public company? How do you build consensus among the officers and the
We don't talk
directors?
over Michael Saylor.
And then there's
We don't talk
a
over
lot
Michael
of work
Saylor.
on the legal nuances, the disclosures, and then finally the execution. People go, well, how do I buy it? How do I custody it? And how do I do risk management on it? So these are things that we spent 4 years working on, but every company has the same exact questions. And so we think it would be a shame not to share that playbook with 50,000 public companies, and of course there's 50 million decent-sized private companies out there. They all have the same exact problem, and they need the same set of tools.
So is it safe to say the dream here is a MicroStrategy in every country around the world, even bigger than that, Mike?
Well, I think the dream is every company find a way to recapitalize on Bitcoin for the benefit of their shareholders, their customers, their employees, so they can make better products and services.
Excellent. And we've obviously seen a warming of attitudes. Obviously, we talked about on this desk earlier. The Warren Buffett's a little bit less quiet in the room these days. Jamie Dimon, we've even heard changing their tune. Maybe let's talk about these headwinds.
Warren
This
Buffett was
positive
super
sentiment, obviously, this
anti-crypto.
conference. We've got two major presidential candidates here. Michael, how much is this helping your evangelism amongst corporations?
I think the challenge is always
Two?
to get people to notice. I mean, they say in politics, you got to say something 42 times before people know what you said. And so now that you've got major political figures on the national stage coming here
Was
to
it Vivek?
Bitcoin in Nashville, I think you've got media attention. You've got a lot of politicians, a lot of journalists, a lot of
Guys, this is so
leaders, a lot of
fun.
community leaders.
This is actually
They're
so
stopping
fun.
and spending a few minutes to think about what this means, and now they're asking the right questions.
Mike, your take?
Well, I think if you build it, they will come. Let's look what we did in 2021. Remember when Michael Saylor was on stage, and there was such unbelievable energy there when people were looking at how he was.
I wonder if Michael
approaching Bitcoin,
Saylor
a publicly traded company.
is like
And now we're gonna have
worried about getting like
20,000
kidnapped
plus
or
people
something.
that are going to be here at this
Like,
conference. All the
he
all
owns
the companies around the world that are making all their Bitcoin
billions of
announcements
dollars of
this week. We really
Bitcoin,
have the
and
attention of
everyone
not
knows
just
that.
The niche media, which is the crypto world.
Everyone knows Michael
global
Saylor has
media,
billions of
people that
dollars
are
of
coming to this
Bitcoin.
event.
Is really no
I'll tell you how
one
many of them we keep trying to
potentially
around this conference,
planning
and
some
everyone's
kind
asking,
of
how do I bring Bitcoin to my
kidnapping,
company? How do I become a Bitcoiner?
Right.
And if we've had
force him
trainers
to
telling
like
people, hey, this is
give
a
up
tool
some
for
private
Bitcoiners.
keys? I wonder if he
Here's
thinks
where to
about
buy it,
that.
Here's how to, and here's how to connect with other Bitcoiners.
Right.
How do we do that at a much larger scale for corporations, which need a lot more information?
I was going to say, is this a top-down movement, a bottom-up movement? If you're at a corporation now and you're a passionate Bitcoiner, how do they make change with these materials that we're producing?
I think it's a bit of all those things. Sometimes it's big shareholders that are going to the management team saying,
Can you guys
"We want
hear?
your
It's kind of
company to adopt
quiet.
the
They have to
Bitcoin
turn up their mic.
strategy." Sometimes it's coming from the directors at the board level that are lobbying for the management team to adopt a Bitcoin strategy. Sometimes it's an inspired executive at the company that might be the CEO, it might be the CFO. And then sometimes it's an employee that's a Bitcoiner, a Bitcoin maximalist that looks at their company and they see the company is struggling, but it could benefit
Yes,
enormously.
this is Michael Saylor.
And so they're bringing
Thanks for the pop-up.
idea up the chain of command.
Do you have a sense of, we've talked about the playbook, you've talked about all the facets, where, if you're a company, where do you start? Do you have an idea of, here's how you start bringing Bitcoin to your company?
Well, that's exactly why we're engaged in this partnership.
What does the sign behind him
Our thought
say?
is, let's give people a website,
Blockstream?
and then let's organize a set of materials, the right playbook, the right legal, accounting, process, execution, advice, and also let's give them the ability to reach other people, either other business executives that have already gone down that path, or reach the legal professionals or the accounting professionals or the business process professionals or the custodians and exchanges that can provide this kind of service at an institutional grade level. And we want to create a one-stop shop and make it easy.
And what we've seen is there's so many partners out there to help companies do this, but a lot of times people could want to have it at their company. They don't even know who to turn to. They don't know who's trusted, and they honestly don't want to maybe risk their job making a wrong judgment on a partner. So once again, proof of work is very important. We've seen the companies that have done this in the space. We want to make sure that every other company knows who's had success, who to turn to, right? And where a company starts is different for everybody. And even though we have the playbook, what MicroStrategy did, the time they've invested, there's a bunch of different approaches to that. We're seeing companies all over the world now try to test this out and try.
Do you think
It's our
anyone
job
right
to
now
report on that to
is
understand that better.
planning or plotting to kidnap Michael Saylor?
Move forward with this, and that's what we've been exploring, and we're excited to show the world.
We're winding down here. Of course, a lot of excitement to come. We'll have Robert F. Kennedy.
This is the only guy
tomorrow
whose
on
mic
stage. We'll have Donald J.
is
Trump
loud
on
enough.
Saturday. Want to talk a little bit about the regulatory environment. We touched on it a little
Donald
bit.
Trump, guys, on Saturday, 2 p.m.
US regulatory environment help an initiative like what we're putting together.
Too excited.
MicroStrategy for corporations.
I think a positive regulatory environment is going to be a tremendous boost to the space.
Of course.
I think that that Bitcoin got a huge boost with the approval of spot ETFs in the U.S. in January. Now we're up to 39 ETFs around the world. So every time a new jurisdiction like Australia or Hong Kong or Germany approves an
39
ETF,
Bitcoin
it gives us
ETFs.
another boost. I think there's a big movement afoot to let banks.
Little camera shake there.
Let banks custody their
SAB
own
121, of course,
Yeah, repeal SAB 121 and the
Guys,
support of
what event are you
the
most
FDIC,
excited for,
OCC,
or what
and the
speaker?
SEC, which is, I think it's inevitable. It's just a question of when, not if. That's
Whoa,
going to accelerate
he's so
adoption,
bullish.
quite a bit as well. So we've got a set of milestones.
I wonder if they're going to talk about Ethereum at all.
They're probably going to come over the next 12 months. And each one of those just reduces friction and risk and accelerates the Bitcoin journey for corporations and institutional adopters.
And not only that, but now just the public awareness of a topic like this. President Trump 2 years ago might have said, Bitcoin was a Ponzi scheme, and now all of a sudden he feels orange-pilled. He's talking about this topic. All the people that are part of the party, are part of their movement, that now are giving Bitcoin a second look. mainstream culture is changing. We just saw even Kamala Harris and her conversation saying her campaign is thinking differently, clean slate about crypto, clean slate about regulations. So being able to push, let everyone know that this is something that can be accepted, talked about, whether it's regulations or not, people wanting to accept this. And now all of a sudden we have, 2 out of the 3 major candidates that are running for president that want to come here to address Bitcoiners and say,
I mean, are there really more than 2? Come on.
Your community, this is why we believe in
We've seen the poly market stats. Come on. We know it's Trump versus Harris.
Well, of course, the rumors that Kamala Harris might attend, of course, not attending.
No.
I'm curious for your take. Is there a sense that this regulatory
Kamala
environment is
denied
going
it.
to
She's
change
not
for
going to
the
be
positive
attending.
regardless of the administration, or do you think Bitcoiners should be plugged into this election?
I think there's
Absolutely,
a
they should be
fair
plugged
wind
into the
blowing,
election.
For Bitcoin, regardless, I really can't see any administration in the future not embracing Bitcoin. It's not really a question of whether they'll be pro-Bitcoin. It's a question of how aggressively they'll move, how fast they'll move, and whether they move with alacrity or whether they move a bit more deliberately. But I think that we passed an inflection point in January of 2024, and at that point it became clear Bitcoin is the institutional grade.
This is sick. Thank you, Kath.
And as Larry Fink has said,
I don't know if you're watching, but thank you for this sick graphic. This is amazing.
Got enormous global appeal. It's something which is unique, and the world needs more of it. And so
amazing graphic, guys. I'm going to show this to you in just a second.
Education, and there's a lot of moving parts in the global financial apparatus. There's a lot of regulators, and every regulator's got 20 different switches they got to flip. They're all going to flip over the next 4 years. The question is, over the next 4 months, over the next.
An orange wave maybe cresting in November, 4 years. And it sounds like we have a landing page now. People can learn more at home if they want to understand what we're doing with Bitcoin for corporations.
Check this out, guys, really quick.
Yeah, so go to b.tc/corporations. That would be kind of
check this out. I am going to quickly
more to come, as you can imagine, with everything we've been doing.
Change this to me.
We need a little break, and obviously a lot more information.
You guys can still hear it, right? Give me a sec.
I
have to show you guys something.
As we're meeting with so many companies
I have to download something real quick.
We knew that this was a conversation we need to have, and we wanted to make sure we gave them.
I know you're looking at me.
What we're doing.
I just don't want to show you this yet right now. Give me a sec.
Companies that are interested in this, interested about putting Bitcoin, whether on their balance sheet.
Yo, this is so gorgeous.
Seeing the playbook to reach out to us and start building that community with us.
Okay, look at this. Look at this.
Special announcement: Bitcoin Magazine and MicroStrategy will be right back on the Bitcoin news desk here at Bitcoin 2024.
Okay, they're going to commercial. They're going to commercial. We have a second. Oh, I'm showing you guys, aren't I? Oh, no, you're looking at me. They're going to commercial. I'm quickly going to add this. Check this out. Oh, what are you guys looking at it?
This is Mara, taking Bitcoin mining to the cutting edge of energy solutions.
Thank you, Kath,
We're monetizing
for making this for us. You guys can see this, right? Check this out. Look what we have here.
Landfill emissions and recycling data center heat to warm communities in Finland.
Whoa.
With Mara, we're building the base layer.
So we have a schedule now that we can pull up.
To learn more, visit mara.com.
We have a schedule now that we can pull up.
What is
so
money?
July 25th, yeah. So we have.
Paper money has value because someone says so.
Why are they talking over me?
It's like digital gold. It has value for many of the reasons gold does. But that's
I'm quickly muting this. I don't think you guys can hear it now. Really quick, before we go back, check out this cool schedule we have now. So we can see easily. Okay, the 25th we have no major speakers. 26th is James Seyfarth. He's speaking at 9 for 30 minutes. We've got at 2 with Michael Saylor. At 4 we've got RFK Jr. 27th on Saturday we have some opening remarks. Crypto Nerd stream starts. Okay, now you know when we start. At 2 p.m. Donald Trump speaking. At 3:35 is Vivek Ramaswamy, and then at 4:15 is Vivek's Q&A. This is some major stuff, guys. Okay, we should head back now. Can I just move this over here? And then whenever I need now, I can just yoink it back. Okay, that's so convenient. Oh, that's so convenient. I am going to, let me copy this and head back over here. Okay, you guys can see nothing yet. Can I just paste this right in? Oh, that is so convenient. Okay, so we can see our schedule at any time now. Anytime we can pull up our schedule, we can see what's going on over here. Oh, that's so convenient. Oh, that's so nice. I love that. Okay, so let's go ahead and stick that over there. Thank you, Kath. That is so helpful. You don't even know. How hype is this? Now we can just see this schedule whenever. Oh, that's so hype. We have to get back to the stream in just a second because they're going to go live in just a sec. Their commercial's probably almost done. Oh, yeah, they're back. Here we go.
Chairman, Semler Scientific. I get that right?
Let me
excellent.
Take us back.
The topic is Bitcoin treasuries, putting Bitcoin into the balance sheet of corporations. Eric, want you to talk a little bit about your journey and obviously the inspiration maybe that you drew from Michael and just becoming, as you said, a fast follower of the strategy of adopting a Bitcoin standard.
Yeah, you know, it was something that we decided very recently at the end of May that we wanted to take our cash and buy Bitcoin as our, adopt a Bitcoin treasury reserve strategy. I don't think it would. Sure. How's that? Okay. I don't think it would have ever happened had this man here next to me not been such an inspiration. He has been out there telling companies and countries that they need to do this. And
this guy just spoke. This guy was one of the speakers that just spoke at the Bitcoin the balance sheet event.
Us, frankly, not directly, but through our listening to his preaching, this made this kind of bold move. And
that's not me playing with the mic, by the way. That's coming from them.
Doing this. It's such a compelling argument. He's created so much value. He started with a company 4 years ago that had a $500 million market value and all $500 million of cash roughly, and has turned it into a $35 billion enterprise, which is just phenomenal and so that's Hall of Fame. And I've been an investor my whole career. I've been a long short TMT investor. I follow Bitcoin closely, and he's
Why isn't
up there
it
with the greats, with Jensen Huang and
there we
Jobs
go.
And all those
it
guys
was
for the
blurry.
Well, we just had MetaPlanet on earlier, their CEO. Their story may be a little bit different. They were a Japanese public company. And the
Hi to everyone just tuning in.
They were looking for a model to adopt. MicroStrategy comes along and they drew inspiration. Was it the same for Semler Scientific? Or
you know what? Can I change some of these stream settings? I'm curious. Real quick, can
your cash hedged against inflation and economic?
I'm going to quickly have you guys look at me again, actually, just for a second. How do I...
high margin cash
can send messages. How can I change this? Can I change this once I start a stream?
We've had a pretty good run.
I set it to subscribers. Only for 5 minutes can chat, but I'm starting to think we just let everyone chat just because we're all hanging out. It's a party.
We've been looking at buying back our stock. And,
but I don't think I can. You guys can hear it, but I'm not showing you. You guys are looking at me right now. Hi.
And due diligence. It made so much sense.
I don't think.
Clearly listening to.
We'll change it for next stream. Let's not worry about it right now. Let's just go back.
Podcasts and so forth. It was very helpful to understanding, that alternative.
And Michael, of course, your reaction, obviously.
What's the next segment? What are we waiting for next? What the next main event is? Let's see.
Well, I think Eric's too kind to give us any credit at all. The information.
The next main event is.
And a million people will stare
probably
at the same thing, and
improving the Bitcoin user experience, maybe.
So I think the impressive
thing we're almost done, guys. Wow, we're almost done for the day.
Scientific is they went from concept.
Maybe we're probably going to be seeing either improving the Bitcoin user experience or the Fold special announcement. And if you guys are unfamiliar, this Fold special announcement it's not that like app you can have on your phone that comes with
a lot of people
has special cards.
Look at the information.
Bitcoin
they'll agree
Michael
with you, and they'll do nothing. And to actually do something is quite extraordinary in this world.
Well, we're going to talk a bit about a broader subject. We'll have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on this desk tomorrow. He's talked a little bit about Bitcoin, backing Bitcoin.
Yo, really?
So,
what?
An innovative proposal, obviously.
At that desk? They're going to have RFK Jr. at that desk?
Does that solve some of these problems that maybe you were adopting Bitcoin in the first place to solve? Michael? Eric?
So say that again.
The topic is backing the dollar with Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, I think you back the dollar by doing something economically rational. So when the United States actually purchased Louisiana and we expanded the country and doubled the size of it, we backed the dollar. And when Seward bought Alaska and we found $1 trillion of oil underneath it, we backed the dollar. And when we developed the port of New York City and we engaged in international commerce, we backed the dollar. So the country's got to look to the future, and the future of the country is in cyberspace, and Bitcoin is, in essence, cyber Manhattan. So the way you back the dollar is you buy Manhattan for pieces of paper
cheap.
and trinkets, and you buy it before it's worth hundreds of trillions of dollars, just like the Dutch bought New York for $50 worth of plastic beads. And so I think that it's right in front of us. The United States owns the majority of the gold in the world. The U.S. federal government owns 28% of the land, in the United States. The U.S. government should own the majority of the Bitcoin in the world.
Very interesting stuff. We got the chat going, of course.
What a great answer. I hope you guys are able to hear that.
Going in the chat, so I'll ask directly to our panel
What
here.
a great
of course,
answer.
Question
Wow.
about the opportunity that you've had both to engage with politicians who are running in the November election. Have you had direct engagement with these campaigns? Are they looking to business leaders in the Bitcoin industry to provide them feedback? Eric, Michael?
Guys, if you're just tuning in, hit that sub button. Give me a laughing Luffy up there at the top right, and you'll have your name at the top left.
Yet, but two things are happening. One,
Look, I'll show you. I'll show you what happens real quick. Look at this.
Prominent politician
That could be you. That could be you. Yeah.
But also, we're dealing with the SEC too. We're waiting to go effective with our filing for a at the market offering. We filed a shelf and.
Sorry, what is it? At the market offering?
Yeah. So what we're looking to do is to sell stock for general corporate purposes, including possibly the purchase of more Bitcoin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the SEC has
some exciting news happening here on the desk.
So the SEC has been, we've been waiting for a while now for the SEC to approve it. They've had comments on our Bitcoin strategy, which will become public information.
Please turn this dude's mic up.
They're not friends of crypto or Bitcoin, and so I think they're going to, take their time before they approve.
This is industry day, guys, by the way. Day one is industry day. You needed like a industry pass, a special pass to be able to go to this, to go to the Thursday day.
Michael, your experience so far, you can share.
We have a lot of senators attending this event, a lot of congressmen, a lot of governors interested. Some, the majority of the presidents.
Look at this dude on the right. Look at this dude.
So I think that political interest in Bitcoin has increased, to say by an order of magnitude since the last election cycle is probably an understatement.
He's right.
I think, well more than half
am I blocking the dude?
Oh, no. The country now are thinking they need to have a strong opinion. And the opinion has flipped, generally uniformly positive.
I was blocking him. Dang it.
If you were to take a vote, the majority of Congress,
there's another guy.
The majority of senators would have voted pro-Bitcoin right now. So it's been a wonderful inflection, a positive sentiment.
Let's just say we had President Trump here, we had Kamala Harris or someone. What would you say are the steps that they should take to help the industry? What's the one thing that they could do, I think, to most help your businesses and Bitcoin for corporations in general? Michael?
I think the future of the country is based on embracing technology and exploiting technology. So
can you guys hear me out
30
me whistle?
years ago, it was own the internet.
Might be annoying.
And 100 years ago, it was cultivate your energy resources and make sure you're a leader in oil and steel and air power.
he's wearing a MAGA hat.
Space
no,
power.
He's saying make Bitcoin
and
great
I think
again.
in the 21st century, it's digital power. So embrace digital assets, embrace digital capital, embrace digital power, embrace Bitcoin. It's worth hundreds of trillions of dollars. You can either own it and benefit from it, or you can ignore it and then give that technology to your competitor.
Eric,
he's taking a picture of us. Yeah, wave.
Donald Trump backstage. What are you asking him?
Well, selfishly and short term, I'd say just a more friendly regulatory environment. I think it's gotten better, but I would like to see it not be so, such
hostile
for us.
Yeah.
And so that would be really important. And I think it's just, really important to recognize that that the younger people in our country really believe in crypto and in Bitcoin, and that they need to, their policies need to reflect that better, because that's the future.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're getting a word from our sponsors coming in hot. We've
Oh,
got Michael Sill,
advertisement.
Mr. Semler from Semler Scientific. We'll be right back here at the Mara News Desk at Bitcoin 2024. Stay with us. We'll be here for the next 3 days, broadcasting live.
So what are they waiting for? Oh, so we're probably going to be watching Fold together. We're probably doing Fold together. Should we take a look at Twitter? What's Twitter saying? How do I oh, here we go. Let's turn this down for a little bit during the ads. And let's see. Let's check Twitter. Let's see what Twitter's doing.
This is Mara.
Okay.
Taking
still
Bitcoin
kind
mining
of,
to the
let's watch it.
edge of
Whatever.
energy solutions. We're monetizing excess hydro energy in Paraguay, turning waste into value by reducing landfill emissions, and recycling data center heat to warm communities in Finland. With Mara, we're building the base layer of a sustainable future. To learn more, visit mara.com.
Never mind, we're not skipping any ads. That was sick. We're going to watch all these guys. Ledger. Oh. This is so gorgeous. What a beautiful hardware wallet. Oh my god. Oh my god. What a beautiful wallet. Quite interest.
This is Mara.
Oh wait, we just saw
Leaders in
this.
Bitcoin mining with global energy solutions and advanced
Watch it again, I guess.
proprietary technologies. Mara sets the digital gold standard. To learn more, visit mara.com.
So what is money and how does it get value? Paper money
Kraken.
has value because someone says so. Bitcoin is different. It's like digital gold. It has value for many of the reasons gold does, but that's only the start. It has a limited supply, only 21 million, so no one can decide to just print more. Because no central authority controls it, it can never be shut down. And unlike with banks and credit card companies, you don't need approval to use it. It puts the power back in all our hands. Bitcoin lets you control your finances. Kraken lets you buy Bitcoin.
This is
Kraken.
such a
See what
good
crypto
ad.
can be.
What a good ad. Okay, we're just doing them all again, I guess. So is this is some sort of Bitcoin bank? Where they'll store your Bitcoin for you at? Mara. Interesting. Bank your Bitcoin.
Why?
El Salvador. Oh my goodness. Oh, I thought that was going to be the fact that they accepted as legal tender. Yikes. Opcat? What? What is this? BlackRock. This
What's the
is
second best? There is no second best.
it's Michael Saylor.
We will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in America.
Free Ross Albrecht. The Silk Road guy. These are all NFTs. Look at the mushroom.
So yeah, today we're going to be talking about runes.
We're talking about runes.
So that's
Good
just
afternoon.
the Bitcoin conference
Last
ad.
but not least,
Fold.
we have a very special
This is Fold,
presentation
right?
from Will Reeves, CEO of Fold. Please give
Yep.
a warm round of applause for Will.
How awesome were those commercials, especially that last one, the Bitcoin conference commercial? That was awesome. Yo, that's so
What's up,
good.
Nashville?
Woo!
My name's Will, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of
Fold.
Fold. You know, we're
Nice.
the team that has introduced over 500,000 people to Bitcoin rewards.
And they've got
Bitcoin
like
savings accounts.
cards.
And
Yeah.
we have some pretty big news to share.
Oh. Holy.
But first, a quick word from our lawyers. I'm sorry. No, but seriously, back to the news. You know, Fold is set to list as the
No way.
first pure-play Bitcoin financial services company on the NASDAQ. And
That is so huge.
our mission is to maximize wealth creation for our customers and our shareholders, and all powered by Bitcoin. We're taking Bitcoin to the center of global capital. So every single day, we've seen people choose Bitcoin, and we know this network is growing faster than the internet itself.
Yep.
And Fold
Yes, it
is
is.
the home for Bitcoin personal finance. So we provide all the banking tools you need for the currency you prefer. We give you that choice for the first time. And we're building financial services on Bitcoin for
Interesting.
Bitcoiners by Bitcoiners. So when you download Fold, you end every day with more Bitcoin than you started. You can earn
Whoa.
Bitcoin on your everyday spending. And just yesterday, we
Debit
announced
card
the
and-
ability to earn Bitcoin on your mortgage, on your rent, on your credit
FDIC
card bills.
cash account.
And you're able to buy Bitcoin directly from your cash balance, or even pull out cash directly from your Bitcoin balance. And it's truly a special thing. Most of us here already know this.
Making
but people
reports
that
great
adopt
again.
Bitcoin and Fold are better off than their peers. You know, we've distributed over $45 million in Bitcoin rewards to our customers. And had we distributed
guys.
that same amount of rewards in cash, we would have been just above 20 million. Bitcoiners and Fold customers have more purchasing power and more savings than ever before. And this is
Wow.
special because right now, this is happening at a time when most people find that their purchasing power is less and decreasing, and their savings are decreasing. So Fold, we believe, is an engine for prosperity, and all powered by Bitcoin.
This is fascinating. Do you guys have the Fold
So
app?
We're laser focused on this mission to accelerate wealth creation for Bitcoiners and value creation for our shareholders. So today, you can use Fold as the home for most of your personal financial needs. FDIC accounts, cards, bill pay for your dollars, custody and trading for your Bitcoin.
Pop, are you hearing this?
And rewards on everything. In the future, we're going to give you access to native bill pay, premium credit cards, loan products, and business accounts. Your entire life powered by Bitcoin and brought to you by Fold. So we talked about our mission, and it's really to drive wealth creation for our users and wealth for our company and our shareholders. And this is how it happens. We've created a virtuous cycle, we like to call it, where we align incentives on both sides. Our customers use the products and they accumulate Bitcoin along the way.
Nice.
And as a result, Fold accumulates Bitcoin for our treasury. And as our customers accumulate more Bitcoin, they need more financial services to support that Bitcoin, and Fold is going to be there to provide that for them. And so the cycle continues. We've built an unstoppable Bitcoin accumulation machine for our customers and for our company. And this is where we're at today. Already,
1,000
Fold has amassed
Bitcoins.
over 1,000 Bitcoin into our corporate treasury, and this is just the beginning. Every day, we expect our product to generate more and more Bitcoin, and we're going to follow in the footsteps of giants like MicroStrategy to accelerate that Bitcoin accumulation. So there is no company more focused on Bitcoin than Fold on the entire stock market. There truly is no second best.
That was funny.
Going back to
I'd
what
say
we're
maybe
here
there's
for
one,
and why a
right?
lot of us joined
Coinbase is
Bitcoin.
on the stock
We built
market.
Fold with an idea to help people
An
save
American
and
dream
accumulate
powered
over
by
the
Bitcoin.
long haul.
This
And
guy
we
was
wanted
inspired
Fold
by
to become a prosperity engine. Little did we know it actually worked, and it's all powered by Bitcoin.
This guy was
And so we
inspired
hope
by
this engine
Vivek
continues
Ramaswamy.
to drive value to our customers and the shareholders.
Vivek gave a
and our
speech
team.
on.
And ideally, we can find a new American dream, all powered by Bitcoin.
Yeah, Vivek gave a whole speech on how Bitcoin
So
is like
we're
represents
excited
the
for
American
future,
dream.
And we welcome you all to come and join us. You can find us actually trading today under EMLD, and it's been an absolutely wild ride for myself, for my team, and for all of our friends in the community, and we're just getting started. So appreciate everything, Nashville. Thank you.
That is so fascinating. Should we see? Quickly, EMLD. Let's take a look. EMLD. Yeah. Is this it? Is this it? I guess. I can't. They launched in 2022? Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it must be, right? Look at this spike. It just spiked up. Look at this spike in the price lately. So this must be them. Gotta wait for it to come back.
News desk at Bitcoin 2024, powered by Bitcoin Magazine. I'm your host, Pete Rizzo, editor of Bitcoin Magazine. You just heard from Fold, a Bitcoin rewards company that's about to go public. Our next guest is CFO at a public company, Salman Khan, CFO at Mara. Salman, welcome.
What is Bitcoin's price at right now?
Thank you for having me here.
And of course, you've had some
What's
exciting
the market looking
news
like?
Of your own.
Red, is Bitcoin up?
Of 100 million. Just want to make sure $100 million dollars worth of Bitcoin, taking your company's holdings to more.
Bitcoin's up a little bit. Oh, it's doing great.
Bitcoin worth roughly 1.3 billion. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Bitcoin's up like crazy. It was at like touched 63 for a second.
That Bitcoin, that's great.
It's over. It's almost at 66
this
again.
Not new to us. We have done this in the past. Back in 2021, we invested $150 million in Bitcoin, and we've held that Bitcoin since then. If you think about it, that's 2021 pricing, and it's still
yeah. Look at this.
In our HODL position on the balance sheet. And
back over
today
65.
We announced that we will continue to do that. In the last 1 year or so, we have, since probably 2022, we started selling.
That was so
to
interesting.
Our operating costs, and now
that was so interesting. So we have to do. I want to do more research into this Fold because obviously I've heard about it, and obviously I know about how you can get rewarded for doing in Bitcoin for doing stuff, but I didn't know it was supposed to be some Bitcoin bank. My question is, I wonder how this is different from something like, Coinbase or Coinbase wallets. I wonder what they're doing differently.
Worldwide impact, and we believe Bitcoin to be the best asset class when it comes to being as a treasury asset reserve, and we encourage all the companies, corporations, governments to consider.
I don't know if I'd call Bitcoin its own asset class, though. I feel like crypto is an asset class. Bitcoin's an asset, but what do I know?
Halving taking place earlier this year in April, issuance of Bitcoin declining to 3.125 BTC per block, obviously putting a squeeze on the Bitcoin mining industry. Some companies, so nice to see that you're persevering through that. It sounds like that hasn't put in a damper on your financial operations at all.
Yeah, it's a fascinating space to be in. So if you're used to,
is there some moon in back? What is that?
Like I come from oil.
There's some moon right here.
And there you can continue to produce oil, and Exxon can go ahead and have a huge discovery of oil, and suddenly you have a mismatch of supply and demand in the world. In Bitcoin, it's very different. Although the Bitcoin price may act like a commodity, like oil prices act as commodity, but when it comes to the quantity of production, that's restricted per the protocol. Nobody can change that. 21
Bitcoin is a commodity,
and majority of those have already been produced.
Perfectly scarce commodity.
As we go through halvings every 4 years, they will be.
Hi everyone, just tuning in. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up.
Of that supply. Whereas on the other hand, you see mainstream investors are now realizing how great this asset class is, because this has been sitting in as the best kept.
Make sure to sub, but give me a laughing Luffy. Look what happens if you sub. Can I show you something? This is what happens when you click the sub button.
As this becomes mainstream,
really quick, I know you can't see it.
This Bitcoin conference,
could be you. Could be you.
Amazing presence of people here, and great to see so many people attending. And as you see this asset class to be recognized by traditional investors and also mainstream corporate institutional holders, you will see this demand to continue to creep up. As you know, the ETFs were announced earlier this year, And 11 ETFs announced. Out of those, 5 were the best ETF launches since the beginning and the inception of ETF's history. And this is huge. There's a demand out there. Institutions were.
Bitcoin's just the best.
And that will likely result in the demand to continue to increase. So going back to your question on halving, yes, halving happens every 4 years. And we as a publicly traded corporation, we plan for a very long duration of time.
How fun would it be to be here in person?
4 years. And,
too bad, and tickets are
plan ahead of time.
$700 to $3,000.
We will continue to create value for our stockholders, and Bitcoin price will continue to accrete as the demand creeps up.
Well, I was going to say, obviously, the halving, great, because it's ensuring that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, which is great for everyone. How do you plan for something like a halving? Coming from oil and gas, they're telling you
do you plan
Bitcoin,
for it?
This fixed supply commodity.
By buying it.
21 million. How does that affect how you think about it? And did that lead you to the conclusion that a Bitcoin treasury was the best thing for the business?
Yeah, great question. So this concept is not novel to our industry. It exists in other industries as well. You look at oil, for example. Oil price fluctuates a lot. There was a time when oil price was $140 per barrel. Then it went down to $30 per barrel suddenly overnight. And it's still there if you look at the last
from
140
to 30.
And then since then, it's been fluctuating with a period of time.
In
Bitcoin
one night?
is another commodity, and commodity-based and capital-intensive businesses like oil and Bitcoin in a similar fashion, you have to plan ahead of time. You have to plan for the worst, and you have to plan for the best of the time. So you plan for the down cycle, and we also prepare for the bullish market. And
yo, what's up, everyone tuning in? Welcome to the party. We're celebrating Bitcoin today.
As we believe right now, we're at that inflection point where pricing is expected to
Bitcoin, the commodity that will separate money and state
This is the time where you
and lift so many people out of poverty.
Bitcoin, because from a long-term perspective, pricing is going to be much larger than what it is today.
Yes,
it may fluctuate.
It's 2024,
but we are
and some people still don't have Bitcoin. Can you believe it? It's 2024, and some people still are anti-crypto and don't have any crypto. Can you believe it?
Very few.
Ugh.
Of course, there are things you can't plan for.
Pains me to think about.
The halving is certainly something you can plan for, but the regulatory environment in the United States has been volatile. We're going to be having some of the largest presidential candidates. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be on the stage tomorrow. Donald J. Trump will be on Saturday. And it sounds like you had the opportunity.
To those just tuning in, this is our schedule.
Trump put together. What was that experience
check this out.
like? Was he receptive to the industry?
To those just tuning in, check this out. Tomorrow, so today we've got no key speakers. I know you can't see the screen right, or you can't see the video right now, but tomorrow at 9 a.m. is our next key speaker. This is just the key speakers, guys.
A couple of weeks ago.
At 9 a.m. is James Seyfarth. Okay. 2 is Michael Saylor. At 4 tomorrow is RFK Jr. And then the 27th Saturday is when we get the big dogs. At 2 p.m. that's Donald Trump. And at 3:30 is when Vivek starts his speech. So that's when things get really crazy. Saturday will be crazy, and Friday will be nutty. All right, let's get back to the conference.
Yes, I mean, obviously you're talking about a former president of the United States in a room with Bitcoin miners. Was this a subject he was familiar with?
It's fascinating. It's mind-boggling, and when you are in the presence of a former president, it's already so overwhelming. But at the same time, few key takeaways from my personal perspective. I was very positively surprised how much former President Trump understood Bitcoin mining, and he was quite educated around the difficulties that this industry has faced.
Someone's been briefing him real good.
Regulatory environment that this government has operated.
This
industry has operated.
Cannot wait to see what happens.
He was keenly aware of that.
Cannot wait to see Donald Trump speak. Cannot wait to see Vivek speak.
His perspective was all Bitcoin should be mined in the United
I'm so
States.
hype.
And his perspective was
I wish I had
a
stream deck so I can just hit the button and it's just like hype or something. That would be
that would be fun. An agenda that has existed since long time ago.
2 days, guys. Trump speaks. Trump and Vivek are both in 2 days.
US first, And
RFK Jr. is tomorrow, and so is Michael Saylor
as well. And it was very predictable from that standpoint.
So his famous quote, of course, "I will ensure the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA." Did he give you any assurances of
how sick is
he will
that?
achieve that goal from a policy standpoint?
Yeah, I'll let the Trump administration and the team that will be talking later this week, which we're all looking forward to talking to.
Good answer.
Hearing about.
He doesn't want to answer it.
I'll let them outline the details. There are certain things that we
Damn.
can and
we don't get spoilers
with our conversations that we had. But it's overall a very positive meeting. But at the same time, we view Bitcoin as a bipartisan issue. This is not a one-party issue.
Love that. Love to hear that as someone in crypto.
Meetings that we had, we also conversed with all the other parties involved in the process, because Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It's a valuable asset, and everyone should benefit from that.
Well, of course, great to see companies like Mara supporting Bitcoin, buying and holding Bitcoin. A lot of fans here in the chat for Mara, and of course our prior guests, Semler Scientific and MicroStrategy. Do you feel like you're part of this Bitcoin for corporations movement, and are you looking at some of the tools MicroStrategy is putting out?
I'm part of that movement. We're all part of that movement.
Look,
Imagine when corporations are adopting it, and you can pay at any corporation with Bitcoin.
From different angles.
It'd be amazing.
Ultimately, we're holding, like, MicroStrategy is a leader in this space in the sense that they've hodled a much larger position. At the same time, Marathon provides a different flavor to the same solution, right? We are also believers in the hodl strategy, and that has created value for our stockholders significantly. Our stockholders believe that we should be holding it at the right time.
I love the seriousness and like the officialness now of this hodler strategy.
And as of now,
they're employing the hodler
conditions are
strategy.
for us to
That's so
go
funny.
back to the hodl strategy, which used to exist for us a long time ago.
Salman Khan, CFO at Mara. Appreciate all the work you do in the industry. That's going to be it for us in this conversation. We're going to throw it back to the main stage. Of course, there's still a bit of time to go here on Industry Day at Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville, Tennessee. We've still got 2 days to go. Stay with us. We'll be broadcasting live on X, Rumble, and YouTube. More great content.
Okay, guys. Well, that's it. Oh, I don't want to watch Hearthstone. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's stream. Make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on, because we're going to be covering the next 2 days. We're going to be there. I'm going to get the schedule out real quick. Check out our schedule. We're going to be covering this, right? We're going to be there for James Seyfarth's speech at tomorrow at 9. We're going to be there for Michael Saylor at 2. We're going to be there for RFK at 4, and then Saturday we're going to be there for Trump and Vivek for sure. So make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on, so that way you can tune in for that, because we need to, guys, we need to do that. We need to hang out. We have to experience that together. So go ahead, give me a laughing Luffy up here. Give me a laughing Luffy up there. Give me a thumbs up on this video, because we both, because we're partying, and I know and you know that was super fun, and we love Bitcoin. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. And I will catch you all tomorrow. Bye.